Hello and welcome to the Ceramic Studio. Today I'm going to show you how to make a clay slab box. Grab some clay and take it through the slab roller. Make sure you smush it down a little bit before it rolls through. You can also use a rolling pin if you don't have a slab roller. I like about 3/8 of an inch thickness is good. Grab your slab and take it over to your workspace. Measure it out. Decide how long and how wide you want your box. It's very important to make sure you're measuring correctly. Once you have your measurements, grab a right angle. You really want to make sure that these are measured well at a right angle so that it does not cause you any issues as you're starting to build. Take your slab and put it on the drying area. We use a plasterboard to help bring the moisture out as it dries. Make 4 pieces exactly the same, and then you can always cut them down as you are building your slab box. Cover them lightly and let them dry overnight. Once they're slightly dry, they should be about leather hard, so they can hold up their shape. It is now time to score both sides of the pieces that are going to touch. Add some slip and then attach. Be very mindful as you attach to securely place your slab exactly where you want it, and then begin smoothing. Now, from here, we're going to be adding a weld. I also like to call it a worm. Add a little tiny weld to the seam of your box and then smooth it in. This is going to really help to secure the pieces together. You'll be doing this in all the corners of your box, inside and outside. Now, as you see the side view of this, we have a little situation. Part of the slab is a little bit bigger than the bottom. Now, it's really important to make sure that everything's lined up correctly. So, if there's any excess, take the time to cut it off now. Don't try to fix it after all the pieces are put together, because then it's a lot harder. So you can use the needle tool, or you can use whatever tools you have. I switched over to a kind of like an X-Acto knife tool to really get some of the shaving it to a really, really perfect measuring. Now, as you are adding that third wall, measure it really, really well. Don't worry if it's a little bit taller than the walls. You can always fix it later. You're going to want to use a right angle to make sure that you have a perfect 90 degrees square, or whatever length you need. But the right angle needs to be super, super precise. The more measuring you do now, the less issues you'll have to fix later on. And since both sides are exactly the same, I'm just going to make a duplicate. It should be able to slide in there perfectly. Now it is time to score and slip. Make sure that you score all of the sides that are going to be touching. Score them up nice and strong. Add that slip. Add slips on both sides that are going to be touching, and then just slide it in there. Try to make sure it's really nice and lined up, and then Just press and smooth out the sides. Slide in the other side and do the same thing. Score and slip, otherwise known as scratch, scratch, slip, and attach. Adding in the last wall, lining up the edges. Once the edges are lined up, go ahead and take the time and smooth it out. Adding the last couple welds to the corners, making the seams nice and smooth. Take some time to go around the entire box and smooth out any rough areas or fill in any areas that are slightly uneven. At this point, let your box dry overnight to leather hard. The next day, you're going to be grabbing a grading tool and just going around the edges of your box, creating a smooth, even finish all the way around. This can be messy, so make sure you're over the trash can. There you have it, a beautiful slab box. Now, if you are thinking about turning this into a planter, you might want to add some drainage holes. Take a tool of your choice and slowly drill it into the bottom. You can decide how many drainage holes works best for what your intention is for the box. I'm planning on making this box into a succulent planter, so I'm only going to put in 3 holes. Then you can go ahead and add some small feet to the bottom of the box just to elevate the box slightly off of the surface. I like to make sure that these are even. And if you take a flat instrument, I just used a ruler here, and flatten them down, they will be the same height so that you will not have a wobbly planter. From here, I'm going to go ahead and just place them to make sure you know exactly where you want them to be. And then take some time and scratch, scratch, slip, and attach. Here is the box after the first fire, and it's ready for some glaze. I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you next time.